to that point. Hello everybody, welcome to the Sole Trader Live development stream. This is where I basically take you through what work I'm actually working on the game and how it's going, that kind of thing. So far we have had a really good week. I've spent quite a lot of time reworking the history generation stuff. You can see the results here. So previously this used to be really slow, and these days, as you can see now, it just rattles through the numbers, which is just fantastic. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. It's going really fast. Now, obviously, I'm only running a few people at the moment. I'm actually only running generation for one city at the moment, and the number of people is gradually declining because we haven't got a critical mass of people in order to create relationships and marriages and that kind of thing. But what I've been working on is also getting the history back in. So we have Eleanor Aird. She's a hippie. The reason that all of these people are either students or pupils is because we haven't actually put the jobs stuff back in yet. We've only really got, if we look at current profession, top profession, current profession, none. Yeah, see, they haven't got much to do. That's really the problem. Oh, Jay and Lee Cake Crutcher. Loving that. Estranged from a sibling, Lee Cake Crutcher. Love that name. He was 50. Oh, he is 50. So this must have been a while ago. So Jay Crutcher, yeah, there's Jay Crutcher. He's 46. He's fallen out with his brother Lee. He must be a half brother. Okay, Kendall and Frank. Kendall, is that a girl's name? Doesn't seem like it is, but okay. And Kendall and Frank, and then where's Jay? Oh no, same people. It must be that Lee then got married. Let's have a look. Divorced from Philip. Oh, Lee's a girl. I see. Doesn't really. Oh yes, I can see that. Gender female. Acrimoniously divorced from Philip Crutcher, but kept his name. Interestingly, this is Philip. He's 53. He's kind of okay. He's fallen out with most of his friends. Yeah, so we've still got a few problems here especially with the people falling out. They just simply don't get on. The problem that I've got is that all of the people keep falling out all of the time, and I'm not quite sure why. I need to figure that out. Although they tend to fall out with as many people as they. Yeah, I don't want as many fallings out as that. I think I'm going to have to make the tests for whether or not you fall out just a little bit easier. In order to make the game play well, I want to have a big network of friendships that people can kind of learn about and navigate. And so if everyone's falling out from each other all the time, then that's kind of annoying. I kind of want them to have lots of friends and a few enemies, and that's kind of where I want to get to. But anyway, what we're actually working on today is getting the organisation stuff back on. Now you can see I've got a starting point from this. I've got the Senate of the Old Federation, which is run by the President. Then you've got Starfleet Headquarters, and you can see I've got various Starfleet outposts, that kind of thing. We only have a couple of planets being generated here, and unfortunately it looks like I haven't got the location stuff back in yet. So I'm in the process of kind of professionalizing the internals of the game, shall we say. I'm trying to get the game working really professionally, and so I'm kind of rewriting the underlying data structures in order to kind of make it nice and cool and just work really fast. And it's really spotted benefits with that, with the way that the history generation has just speeded up so much. Let's just retweet that Sole Trader live coding thing now. Great, so we've got the names just back in. I did that this morning. Ghibli Power is obviously a some kind of mining station, I think. And then we've got Brant's Place, which will be a bar, and then another one, Fira and Morgan. Now the problem is there aren't any jobs available yet, and that's what we want to work on today. What I started off by doing, if I just slow the game down, or stop the game and have a look back at the code, is I've got all of these different organisation roles. So let's take that bar, for example. There are various different roles, vacancies, I suppose you could say, or jobs that are available for particular organisation types. So we have a bar here, and then we have various different various different jobs that can be done in that bar. So one of them is a bar worker, another one is a cleaner, and another is a security guard. Now, the way that these numbers work is they basically form the relationship between how many jobs are available and the size of the organisation. So if you have a bar of size 3, then you will have a any bar that's of greater than size 1 will have, or sorry, from at size 1 they will have a bar worker and a cleaner. When the bar actually gets bigger, then we will get more bar workers and more cleaners, and that number, the rate of acceleration in terms of the rate of the increase of the jobs, is set by this number here. So you can see that we'll require twice, or the number of bar workers will increase twice as fast as the number of cleaners. So a bar of size 3 will have 2 bar workers but just 1 cleaner. Bar of size 5 will have 2 cleaners and 3 bar workers, I think. And security guard, as soon as we get to the size of 3, we start wanting a security guard like a bouncer. So these jobs will be made available to the various organizations. So if you have a bar, all of these particular different jobs will be made available, and then these become life stage options that the various characters in the game can actually choose, and that's kind of where we want to get to now. So the current life options that we have is that really the ones that have nothing to do with an organization, getting born, going to school, and being freelance, basically. So that's why our characters aren't really able to do very much. Okay, so the next thing to do is to fill in that piece of GUI that I was showing you earlier. So if we just load the game, the GUI that I want to show, that I want to fill in, is this one here. So we've got Starfleet headquarters, and I want to show the available vacancies here again. So that should be quite straightforward to do. So that code is in View History Controller. Let's see. Just checking to make sure that we're up and running. That's great. Yeah, so that code is in the View History Controller. So when we show the organization, we're currently not showing the location. That's fine. And we're showing all of the different staff positions at the moment that we actually have, although we don't actually have any yet. So no one's taken a job with anything because there are no jobs available. So we haven't started with that yet. But the first thing we need to do is show the vacancies. So we're going to just successively comment in these lines of code here, which I've commented out from the old history generation in order to make this work. So the operation available jobs, what does that actually do? So previously we had, of the particular type, would give us an occupations for size. Right, so what we were doing is basically getting the staff size from the particular role, and then we had basically available given staff. And available given staff basically works out whether or not we have the count at size 1 plus the size for basically divided by each increase. Yeah, that's right. So that means that we need to think about calculating this first, and then the existing staff count. So we can ignore that for the moment. Right, so what I need to do is basically write a version of that available jobs code here. So we want to say available. So what is available here? It's just a set of life stages. So I can just create a life stage type, life stages, and I'll say that the maximum is going to be 32, which will be fine. And then we can say available jobs, and then I'm going to pass in the operation. Oh, it's actually an organization now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and figure out, oh, we also need to pass the life stages so that we can actually add them. Okay, and also the maximum number. Okay, so if we pass that in like that, then inside new history, somewhere near new organization, I think. Where are we? Not quite that far up. Somewhere like this. So we're going to do internal method void available jobs, and we're going to take a new organization, and we're going to take a live stage type array, and then we're going to take a max. To be honest, the maximum number of organization of live stages. Let's think about this. Bottom of here, we've got the maximum here, right here. We said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7. I think it's 8. Yeah, let's go with 8. And we'll just assert when we add them on. Okay, so available jobs, here we go. So live stage type array, and then we'll say uint32 max jobs. Okay, so now what we need to do, now we've got this, is we basically need to go through the organization's roles. So in this case, we actually need to go through each of the organizations. So for for uint32 index equals, or I should say org index equals 0. The other thing we'll need to pass here is the history. History is organization count, no, organization role count. Org index is less than org index plus plus. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say new organization. Organization equals, this is a candidate, equals history, organization roles, org index. Now, if the candidate is the same as the organization, we can check the pointers here, because I know that this has come directly from that place as well. We only store these things in one place. Okay, so if it isn't the candidate isn't the right thing, we just want to ignore it, completely ignore it, because we're only interested in these particular available jobs. And then basically what I want to say is we need to get the new organization role equals, interesting actually, this is just a role. Oops, I'm misunderstanding my own data structures. I only created this morning. In fact, just before lunch. So now this means that this is a role, and if the role, so if the role is organization index, so let's have a look. I think that's that. Let's have a look at that. It's organization type actually, that's fine. So if the role, the organization type is the same as the organization type, then we want to consider it. Yeah, that's right. Because actually, yes, because the available jobs are the same for each type of organization. So you might have 3 bars, but this is still the same. Now, the difference is that with these things here, the array, the organization will describe the things that have already got jobs for those particular life stages, so that's fine. Okay, so if the role type is organization type, basically we want to add, we need to do uint32 count equals 0, array count plus plus. Also want to assert here count is less than max jobs. Make sure we don't add too many. If it is, it just means that we need to up our limits. Okay, array count plus plus equals role stage. Perfect. Okay, so what that will give us, it will give us all of the available jobs that we have. So we just filtered out a list of all the available jobs. However, there's another condition here. The condition is available at size equals role count for size. So what I'm doing here is you can see I'm not using testing at the moment. I'm not doing any automated testing, but I am trying to run my code usage first to kind of see what difference that makes to the code. At this point, I'm thinking about what method I want here. And the method I basically want is whatever the organization size is, given a role, I want to know how many I should have, basically. And if available at size is greater than 0, then I want to add it. Okay, so what's that role count for size? Well, that's easy enough to write. uint32 role count for size, new organization role, and you can see I've typed that wrong down there. Size. uint32 result equals 0, return result. Don't need any of that. Okay. Okay, so how does this work? And this works actually, funnily enough, exactly like the operation type that I showed you before. Basically, we start with the count at size 1. So the count at size 1 is just the starting value for the new organization role. Let's have a look at that. It's the initial. Okay, and then we add, we also want to have the increase. Now, there's something slightly important to mention here. The increase per size is a real number, and actually what we store is a uint8 of the half increase. The reason that I do this is because I wanted to ensure we don't get any kind of weird floating point precision, because I want to check for 0, 2. Okay, real 32 increase per size. So basically what I want to do here is I want to say whatever the size is, I want to divide that by the increase per size, and I want that to be an uint32. Okay, that's a good start. So basically what that means is that if we have an increase of 6, every 3 counts we will increase. Now the other difference is that this might be 0, and in some cases it is 0. So if we actually want to say if role increase per size, half increase equals 0, then I just want the result to be initial. So, oops, there. But if it isn't, then I want to divide the half increase by 2, and then I want to just, oh, there's an easier way of doing this actually. I can just do size half increase. Actually, no, I will do it that way. And then the result just needs to be plus equals. Okay. So we set the result to initial. If the half increase is 0, then we don't have any more. Oh, so that actually needs to be greater than 0. And then with the increase per size, we divide the half increase by 2, or yes, that's the increase of half, increase per half size point, and then we add that on, and we make sure that that is a uint32. Okay, so that's the role count for size, which means that when we have a look at various different organizations, they should have the correct role sizes now. So let's go back to our view history controller. Now we have our available jobs. Now what we can do is we can say for uint32 job index equals 0. Now the problem is that we don't know how many of these we got back. So we want to say job count equals uint32 return count. Okay, and then job index is less than job count, job index plus plus, and then in here we can just create our GUI thing. So we have our element, we create an job, and then this is just life stage text. Let's actually just create the life stage type here so we can easily see it. Life stage equals life stages. We can also assert the job count is less than 8, less than or equal to 8. Okay, life stages job index, and then we can say life stage test life stage. We might need the state as well. How do I do life stages? No, that should be fine. Okay, so now that should show a bunch of available jobs. Let's see if that works. Okay, let's just make this work. Initial, that's a role. Initial, and that's role half increase. I know that should work. Okay, so we have no matching thing for available jobs. Why is that? It's because we need to pass the history. Yes, I mean the state history. So what I'm trying to do for you who've just joined us, I'm trying to get the history stuff basically to print out to print out the list of available vacancies for a particular organisation. What's wrong with that? It's because this actually needs to be life stages. Is that right? I'm actually call. Oh, I haven't got that right, have I? I don't want a pointer. That's going to be fine. I just want to pass in life stages. Yeah, do it the other way. Always get those mixed up every time. Okay, did that work? It did. So let's fire up Xcode and see if it works. Right, so bang, bang. Just generate a bunch of stuff. Okay, view the history, see the organizations. Right, so when I click on one of these, we get a crash. Okay, so that is because operation vacancies looks like it's null. Interesting. Yes, I renamed all of this stuff. Yeah, I know what that is. It shouldn't be operation vacancies, it should be organization vacancies. Yeah, that's easy enough to fix. I did used to have a difference between an operation and an organization, but then I thought organizations it's simply just have one type of object. Okay. My game build time as well, with skipping templates and build systems and include files and just having one build batch, has been massively increased. You can see how quickly it gets me to get into the game again. Right, so yay! So we've got a bunch of stuff. So let's see. We have an interplanetary senate of the Old Federation. Okay, the size is only 1, yet we have the availability of all of these people, and I'm not sure that that's correct. So let's go through to Xcode and actually try and debug this. So new history. Let's have a look in here for available jobs. Okay, here we go. So let's just pop not that one there. Okay. So let's have a look. So say we've got Starfleet headquarters, right? So let's have a look at this organization that's coming in. It's a Navy HQ. Its size is 5. It's big. Okay, so that one is probably okay. So let's just let that one go through. Let's pick something smaller. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So we've got size of 3. Okay, so this is a hotel. It's an old Federation building. So a hotel, let's have a look at right at the end of this file. A hotel should have a cleaner, a receptionist, and a management trainee at the kind of the size of 1. At the size of 3, it's going to get another cleaner and another management trainee, and it should also get a manager, but it shouldn't have a senior manager. So let's see if that's true. Right, so if we just scoot through here, so we're going to need to get through the organization role type. Now there's a lot of these, there's about 60 of them, so we're going to obviously not find the right role to start with. This is a Senate role, so this is not useful, so let's just skip to here. Okay, so now we should have a hotel role. Cleaner, great. Now the role count for size, let's make sure that that's working. So in here we've got the result as role initial. So role initial in this case should be 1, yeah, because it's a cleaner. Now the result, the role half increase, let's have a look at that. I hate the way it does that. Okay, that is 6. Okay, so the increase per size, therefore, is going to be, should be 3. Yeah, and then the result should have 1 added to it. Yeah, so there should be now 2 cleaners. Great, that's the first one. Let's try the second one. I'm just going to skip a bit later. So this one has 1 receptionist, a role size 3, is that correct? Yes, that is correct, but it should have 2 management trainees and it should have 1 manager. Let's figure that out. Okay, so that's correct. It should have 2 management trainees, 1 manager. But no senior managers. So that shouldn't be listed. So let's have a look. Yay, it did work. So that looks like that's working fine. Great. So the only difference is the size right? Okay, so the mining offices. So we've only got 1 size. Do we need a mining engineer, a courier, a management trainee, and a senior manager at a mining office? Yeah, no, that is correct. That's what I'm expecting. Okay, what about in a bar? Size 2, just a bar worker and a cleaner. Yep. So we can find a slightly bigger bar. No, that's a tiny one. So hotel here, we've looked at that one. Spaceport here. Spaceport has a loads of people who work here. So if it's size 2, yeah, we've got all of that stuff, but we don't have a senior manager. Yeah, so I'm happy that that's working. That's cool. So we've checked that in. Let's have a look through that change. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that's the available jobs. Yeah. Now here's the thing about TDD that I'm trying out. I didn't TDD that code, but the code was reasonably self-evident. I knew what I was doing. I didn't feel the need to write lots and lots of test cases for it. I probably could have written 5 or 6 test cases for that. I didn't really feel the need to. I just stepped through it. It seemed to be working. The chances of me actually introducing a bug that will then break that code later on is very small. I'm not going to go back to that code at all. Probably never. And if I do, I'll just check it. So because I've been coding a while and because I've been doing TDD for 10 or so years, I feel like I'm getting to the point where I can decide not to use it if I want to. I may be making the wrong decision. You may disagree with me completely on that, but it does feel like that's fine. So what have I done here? For a organization. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So once we've done that, the next thing is to finish off getting all of that view history code in. So this is operation events. Okay, so this is looking at different operation. Oh, I should change all of this to organization. Just do that. Organization, operation. Where is it? I'm so lazy. That's actually the wrong way around. Oh, I'll just change this one. Right, anyway. Okay, so this is now all of the different events. Now we don't actually have any events for the operations yet. And I do want to add those in, but I'm not sure that this is the right time. I prefer to actually get these available jobs available to the history generator so that we can start thinking about actually getting them taking some jobs, because at the moment they're not taking any. Right, that means they don't have a good chance to meet people, and there's a lot of stuff there that's not good. Okay, so now we have available jobs. The logical next thing to do would be to put them in here. So we've got a to-do here, which I'm going to get rid of, which basically allows us to fill life options from generic. Now in the old history code, the way that we did this was fill with available jobs. And what that used to do is, with an operation list, basically, it would take all of the available jobs and would check to see whether or not they're allowed to do them. Basically, it was as simple as that. What is a new life option? Oh, it's one of those things. Okay. Right, so basically went through and said, are you allowed to do it? If you are allowed to do it, can you move your family there? If you can move your family there, then you are able to do the work. So we need to do a similar thing. So I'm going to just dump this straight in here for now. So we're basically saying, doing a similar thing to the way we did available jobs. So let's find that code. Let's start with that. So don't need a count. So for org index, organization role count, and then we pick up the role. That's what we're doing right now. Okay, and then basically what we want to say is, if we need all of the available jobs, which we just had a minute ago. Oops. Let's just copy a bit more of that. Got that one. Right, we don't care about that, we just want them all. So given this role, if we've got any jobs available at all, then we can start doing something. Now the question is this a good job to do? So let's have a look how we do that. Ah yes, we've got this big match thing at the moment. So what we do, previously we basically just go through all of the generic life options and say, is this something that we can do? And that all depends on your basic attributes and things like that. So we're going to have to do a similar thing to that here to see whether or not this thing is going to match. Right, which means that we need to look at the previous jobs, which are all in here, to see whether or not they're going to work. Now let's have a look at the types of things, prerequisites we've got. It's a bunch of had events. Okay, so let's have a look at the types of things that we want to check for. Okay, we do all of that stuff. That's all fine. That's all fine. Yeah. Yeah, I can easily run all of those. Just checking there's nothing a bit crazy that we're doing that I'm not expecting for these prerequisites. Security guard, I think that's the last one, isn't it? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Trainee. Yep, yep, yep. Brilliant. Mechanic, mining engineer, petty thief, pirate, pirate chief. Yeah, they're all the same types of things. Okay, so that's all totally fine. Okay, so basically what we have to do is do this kind of, not that kind of thing. Fill life options, that one, this one. We need to check all of the different types of life events, all the different types of things that we're doing in order to, just move that down a bit, in order to make this work. So, let's think about this for a minute. Yeah, that's all fine. Where is this going to go? Do I want to do a similar thing to what I've got before rather than doing it in line? Probably. The other thing that we've got here is we're going through all of the life options. I don't really want to create life options, I want to create roles. I don't want to have to shoehorn this into that process. So in kind of some ways what I would like to do is create a new pointer array here, operation or new operation role. Jobs. And what I basically want to do is do just the same thing as I'm doing before. But basically I want to choose from either of those arrays. And then maybe do different things based on what I've done. Let's have a look at what we do with the choice. We do choice and apply status. Okay, so they're all quite similar. I wonder whether or not those new life options that we've got, create them all up here, whether we need to create one for each of these jobs. We probably do, because they have your durations, they have implied status as well. There's a bunch of stuff that we imply based on this stuff. So an organization role isn't really good.